system. You just let me know when you find out. And sure enough, they found out there's cocaine in his system.
Okay, Jeff, he may have been doing cocaine. I'll give you that. But he was tied up to the bed. What kind of a dope frenzy could he possibly have been? What type of a threat could he possibly have been to Susan Wright?
Well, he could have been a constant threat to her, and she had to lure him into the trap, as she's accustomed to luring men into certain situations, and then had planned to take him out. And that's part of the syndrome. Well, that sounds
like a plan. That no. With battered women syndrome, you don't come up with a premeditated plan.
Oh, I don't know what that means. I disagree with that. I disagree with the whole snapping theory. I have to say that, you know, a woman who's beat up on a regular basis, or who's pushed around, or told she's no good, and that the cooking's no good, the cleaning's no good, is going to be...
Well, that would make me head right to the divorce court, not to the snap and kill court.
A lot of people can't just jolly well go to the divorce court because of the...
Of course, I'd have to cook first before it could be criticized. That probably wouldn't happen. But wait a minute, Jeff.
Yeah.
I want to argue about a point of law with you, buddy. You ready?
I'll try.
A battered women's defense is really a mental defense that you cracked, you snapped, and the planning totally destroys the battered women defense here. And I've done a lot of battered women cases.
All right, well, I would argue that it's a progressive deterioration of life-altering circumstances that results in the necessity to plan to either defend yourself or, and I'm using the word necessity, because that's the crux of the issue to me, that the woman's lawyer is going to have to come out there and say it was necessary for her to engage in this mock sexual
absolutely. I completely agree with you that maybe we need to broaden the definition of battered wife syndrome, and instead of just looking at a single defensive act, that there was a provocation, that there is chronic provoking going on, and that very often we are forgetting...
Why are you trying to blame the victim? The guy stabbed 200 times, and you two keep talking about what a bad guy he is. Hey, he's dead.
Be careful who you batter. Be careful who you batter, because in these marriages, somebody ends up dead.
Okay, guys, take a listen to this.
He has ligatures around his extremities. He has over 200 stab wounds, all but 2 of which are on the front of the body, including the face and the head. He essentially had to be restrained.
Geoffrey, he was stabbed in the face and the head.
Yes, he was in fact stabbed through the eye, as I understand it, reading some of the reports that were furnished to me by your staff. But, I mean, the point of it being, if you're going to kill somebody in just an impulse, then you might grab the knife off the kitchen counter and stick it somewhere in their stomach. I recently defended 2 murderers. The case is on appeal, but the circumstances were they just went into the kitchen restaurant, grabbed the knife, stabbed the victim, and he died. And he stabbed him once in the heart. Here, what you have is a lady who's clearly, absolutely and totally gonzo, because she wouldn't stab her husband.
Wait a minute. What about
times.
the then burying him? She had her wits about her. She then buried him in the backyard. She wasn't upset after his murder. If it hadn't been for the family dog, it'd still be back there pushing up daisies. Right now, take a listen to this.
I couldn't stop stabbing him.
You stabbed him?
I did.
Where'd you stab him?
In his head, and in his chest, and in his neck, and in his stomach, and in his leg from when he kicked me. I stabbed him in his penis for all the times that he made me have sex, and I didn't want to, and I couldn't stop because he was going to kill me, and I couldn't stop.
You know what? I think this is gender discrimination. Because if a man had stabbed his wife 200 times, he would so be looking at the death penalty. This is not right.
Well, we know that juries tend to be a little bit easier on
Well,
women.
that's the jury's problem,
Right.
not the prosecution's problem.
You
Well,
don't like the jury system we have set up for domestic abuse? And then maybe someone could convince Scott Peterson to take a plea and avoid the death penalty.
One of the things, and I think you bring up an excellent point, that if somebody is in, let's say, kind of their right state of mind, they would not repeatedly stab somebody 200 times. And one possibility is that she was almost in a robotic, disassociated state where she was not thinking. She was just in almost a blind rage, could not stop herself, and was still fearful that he would come back and get her. Does that sound normal?
I want to hire you. I want to hire you. Have you ever been an expert in a murder case?
I have not yet.
Well, it's coming.
It's
all right?
coming?
Because that, when you said that with a straight face, I was so awestruck.
Yes.
I'm very impressed. So when I commit my first murder, I'm going to have you come up with a mental defense. I'm going to have Geoffrey Nathan.
I will get you
because
off,
between
Nancy.
the two of you,